We need a new Declaration of Independence. Before I explain why, let's re-examine exactly what we are celebrating every 4th of July. It was originally a holiday to commemorate the signing of the Declaration of Independence from King George's rule over America. Today, many believe we are celebrating freedom every July 4th. But celebrating the end of King George's rule over America is one thing, believing we are free is quite another. In fact, we are more enslaved now than we ever were under British rule. If you believe you are free, then I must ask, what freedoms do you imagine you have? There is nothing you can do without getting a license from the government, whether it is starting a business, obtaining a firearm, owning a car, driving a vehicle, pulling a trailer, building a house, hunting, fishing, boating, marrying, and even divorcing. You have the same freedoms in any communist country as long as you get permission. The fact is, a license turns a right into a privilege. Yes, things are infinitely worse in North Korea, Cuba, and third world hellholes. It is also bad under theocratic regimes such as Afghanistan and Iran. But freedom requires more than just relative freedom. The essential elements of freedom were defined in the Declaration of Independence: the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The original draft listed the right to property, but this was changed to the much weaker pursuit of happiness in the final version. If you don't have the right to life, liberty, and property, then you don't have any rights whatsoever, and you certainly don't have freedom. Sadly, the government does not recognize these rights. Want proof? I quote Senate Document Number 43, 1933, Contracts in Gold. The ultimate ownership of all property is in the state. Individual so-called ownership is only by virtue of government, i.e., law, amounting to mere user, and use must be in accordance with law and subordinate to the necessities of the state. Here's more proof you don't own your property. The Supreme Court ruled in Kelo v. City of New London, 2005, that the governmental taking of property from one private owner to give to another in furtherance of economic development constitutes a permissible public use under the Takings Clause of the Fifth Amendment. The same pretense of ownership also existed under the Nazi regime. I quote Dr. Leonard Peikoff in his classic book, The Ominous Parallels: Property to the Nazis did not mean possession by right, but by government permission. Even Benjamin Franklin, a Mason, wrote in a 1783 letter that, quote, all the property that is necessary to a man for the conservation of the individual and the propagation of the species is his natural right, but all property superfluous to such purposes is the property of the public, who by their laws have created it, and who may therefore by other laws dispose of it whenever the welfare of the public shall demand such a disposition. As one writer explained, there is a reason that John Locke's famous phrase, life, liberty, and property was changed in the Declaration of Independence to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Although Thomas Jefferson did the draft of the Declaration of Independence, it was Benjamin Franklin, perhaps expressing his Masonic views, who removed the right to property. The truth is, you don't own anything. When property taxes are extorted, you are in reality paying rent to the county or local authorities. Don't pay it and they will repossess it. You don't own your labor since there is no limit to how much income the IRS can take. In 1952 the top tax rate was 90% of $300,000 in income. You don't own your children either, when, against the wishes of parents, the government can teach them critical race theory, gender reassignment, white privilege, and inject them with an experimental vaccine. Yes, we need a new Declaration of Independence, from the federal government this time.